Hi everyone, for today's video I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in June. So by the way, if you haven't read any of these books, I'm going to have them listed all in the description, all the ones I'm going to talk about today, and I'll have timestamps next to them, so if you need to because there'll probably be some spoilers and the reviews that I give them, so if there are any that you want to read, any you don't want spoilers for, then I'll try and do timestamps so that you can just skip past those bits. So the first book I read was Heartless, and this was recommended to me, and I thought, first of all, I just want to talk about the cover, which I think is so nice. Although mine's a little bit scratched there, and then I did bend the spine trying to take a photo of it, which was really annoying, but I still think the cover is really nice, and it's all shiny, and so I really like that about it as well. But yeah, this is it's like a spin-off of Alice in Wonderland kind of, and I've never really read Alice in Wonderland or seen any films about it or anything, so I don't really know a lot about it. I do know some things, but I don't really know anything about it going into reading this book. But I don't really feel like that affected it in any kind of way. I don't feel like I needed to have read that to understand any of the stuff that happens in it. I feel like it still works without it. Yeah, from what I know about Alice in Wonderland, the Queen of Hearts, who this book is about, I think she's supposed to be the villain in it, and so I really like the fact that they've given, even though it's technically not an actual part of the story, the fact that they've given the villain a backstory, I really like that part about it, because I think villains and their backstories are just so interesting, and so I really like that the book is about that. I really enjoyed the entire story about it. I thought it was such it was a really good story, and even though the ending is very sad, but I think it's also kind of cool because the fact that Kath kind of turns a bit evil. The fact this book gives her a tragic kind of backstory, I think that makes any kind of villain a lot more complex. I really like that about it, even though she isn't technically a part of the story. I feel like a lot of retellings and stuff kind of just change the story, similar kind of events happen and stuff, but it's just in different scenes and things. Whereas this, I like the fact that it's a prequel to what happens in Alice in Wonderland, and even though I've never seen it, I still really enjoy it. This is one of my favourite reads of the month. I think it is just so good, and I really like Kath and Jess. Their relationship is so cute. I love them together. But what was really frustrating about it is that they were so close to getting to where they want to be and being happy, and then the last moment Kath just decided to go back, and the fact that happened was just frustrating, but I guess it kind of had to happen for what happens in Alice in Wonderland to happen. I knew from the beginning that this book wasn't going to end well, so I wasn't hugely surprised by the ending. It wasn't unexpected, but it was still really sad and really emotional. But yeah, this is one of my favourite reads of the month. So the next book that I read this month is Ninth House, and this took me quite a while to read because it's a really huge book, and so that's why I haven't got loads of books that I've read this month, but because this one was so big it took me quite a while to read. But I did really enjoy this one, and with this book, because it's by Leigh and I really love Six of Crows. I love that series. I think that's one of my favourite series I've ever read. I assumed this book was going to be good. I obviously, because it's not part of the same universe as Six of Crows, I was kind of hesitant to read it at first, but I think this is still really good as well. It's very different from Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone. Not just the fact that it's not part of the same universe, the whole storyline and everything in it is so different. It's got a whole new system of magic, and it's a lot more mature than other books. It's definitely not a young adult book. It's definitely more of an adult book, which I wasn't aware of when I first went into reading it, but I still really enjoyed it. So really, I think the cover for this book is really nice as well. This is a book that I borrowed from the library, so that's why it's got the plastic cover over it, but I still think the cover of it is really nice. I think all the covers for her books are really nice. I think she does a really good job with them all. But yeah, this is just kind of really pretty and simple, and I really like it. But yeah, the characters in this book, I really like Alex, the main character. I really like her. I think she's such a good character, and I think I think overall like the whole story is just like such a like an interesting concept for a book, and I think it just is such a good book. I think it works so well. I'm also really excited because I know she's doing a second one, and so I'm really excited for that as well. Favourite character from this book? I kind of like all the characters really. I'd say Alex is really good. I really like Dawes as well. Darlington, I'm not like, I don't, because you never actually meet him, like, every scene with him in is like a flashback. He's not actually technically in the book, so I feel like, I don't know, I don't like him as much as the other characters, but I think he's still a really good character as well. I really like Alex, I really like Dawes. I think they're like probably two of my main favourite characters. I really like their relationship, like the fact that it like their relationship gets better throughout the books. Like at the beginning when they're not really like friends or anything, they're kind of, I don't know, they don't really have any kind of friendship or anything like that, but I like the fact that it develops throughout the book. And I think at the beginning of the book it's kind of, I was kind of confused about what happened. It's kind of like a slow pace at the beginning, but once you really get into it gets really good, and so I really enjoyed this book. This and Heartless are probably my two favourite reads of this month. The other books I read this month is Percy Jackson, that series. I've never actually read this series before. I think I've seen the film of the first one like once at school, like I think about 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't really remember what happened and it didn't really remember what happened in that book. So I kind of went into this, I've never, like, because I've never read these series before, I wanted to read them because everyone thinks they're like kind of something that everyone read, especially when they were like younger. I don't know, I just never really got around to reading them. I borrowed them off my sister because she'd read them when she was younger, and I didn't want to feel like I was missing out by the fact that I haven't read them. So I've read the first 3 so far. I'm about halfway through the 4th one. So yeah, this one, the only scene that I remember from this one is where they go to like, I think it's like the Lotus Casino. I remember that scene from the film, but other than that I didn't really remember anything from it. But I really liked this book as well. I think out of all the ones that I've read so far, this one is probably the best, although I am really enjoying the 4th one at the moment. But yeah, I did think this one was really good. The only thing is, I think they are definitely directed at a younger audience. Like even as I'm reading it, I can tell they're not meant for people my age. They are meant for like people who are like 11 or 12. I feel like that kind of age range, this is definitely more directed to, and you can tell when you're reading these books. But I do also really like, I do think they've got a really good storyline, even if it's not like even though this isn't directed at my age, I still think it's really good. And I've always been like fascinated by like Greek gods and goddesses and stuff, and even though I didn't know loads about it, because like there's such a big theme in the book, I was really excited to read that part of it. I think that because I knew that meant there would be like magic and stuff involved, any kind of thing like that. I just really enjoy any like that kind of thing in books, so I knew that I would like these ones. And I think, like I said, I have watched a little bit of the film before, and I think I did like that bit of it. I don't think I really gave it much thought at the time, but I did enjoy that, the little bit of the film that I do remember, and I think I might have read a little bit of the books. But yeah, I still think this one's really good, and this one and the 4th one is probably my favourite so far. The other 2 books I've read in the series so far, The Sea of Monsters and The Titan's Curse. I think out of these, I think Titan's Curse might be slightly more my favourite one, but to be honest they're kind of like on an equal level. I think because Annabeth's not in a load of this book and she's one of my favourite characters, I think that kind of lowered it for me. Like otherwise I think that this one might have been one of my favourites as well. But I think I really enjoyed both these books as well, although I do feel like they were more kind of filling in the storyline than actually like anything major happening in them. But I think as both these books are still really good. And I did still really enjoy them as well, even if I didn't like them as much as the other ones. The only thing is, like, with all these books, I don't really feel like I have like a favourite character or anything so far. I feel like, I like all the characters, but there's nothing about any of them that stands out to me. And because there's no real romance involved, at least yet, like, I don't know, I think that's one of the things putting me off this series. Also the fact that obviously it's not meant for, I don't think it's directed at people my age. I think because it is directed at a younger audience, there's like no real romance. There's none of the characters that I like immediately connect with. I don't know, I think those will be like my criticisms of the books, but I still think they're really good, and I understand why people like them so much. I think if you are like 11 or 12 or something like that, I think you would really enjoy these books. I do think they are really good. I just don't think they're meant for people my age. So with the covers, I feel like a lot of the time I don't like book covers where they've got real people on them, like these ones, but I think they actually did a really good job with these, and I do really like the covers for them as well. It's also because they're like shiny ones that I really like that part of them. So the final book I want to talk about is called A Kiss Suddenly, and I'll put a photo of it on the screen now. That was actually a library book, so I no longer have that. I gave that back a couple of weeks ago, but I read it at the start of the month, and I really enjoyed that. That was another one of my favourite reads this month. It's basically, if you haven't read it, it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and Beauty and the Beast is like one of my all-time favourite films. It's Belle's like my favourite Disney princess, and so I was really excited for this one. Obviously it is like a retelling of the story, but it's kind of set in like a modern world. There's like multiple worlds, there's like a modern world and like kind of like a medieval one, and I really like that element of it. I like the fact that it's just not just like a medieval one. It does obviously have like the cast and everything in it. It's got like a similar kind of story to Beauty and the Beast, but like I'd say it's more complicated than Beauty and the Beast, and it's not like exactly the same. Like it's not like just a copy of the storyline. Like a lot of the things do change throughout it. I really like Harper and Wren's relationship. I think they've got a really cute relationship together, and I think all the things that happen, I love them so much. I think they're such like a good couple, and I am considering, because it's a 3-part series, obviously I've only read the first book, I'm definitely considering buying the other, like the entire trilogy for myself so I can read them all, because they are like, it was such a good book. But yeah, I do really enjoy it. I think it's a really good retelling of Beauty and the Beast, because I assumed I would like it, because I already love Beauty and the Beast. I assumed that it would be a book that I liked, but I did really enjoy it. Yeah, that's probably like my favourite read this month, and that is definitely one that I would recommend to everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below any books that you enjoyed this month, and my next video is going to be about my favourite book couple, so if you're interested then please subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you can see that video next week. Like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.